Welcome to tonight's call. I'm so excited. We have been waiting for this call. We've been so excited, rallying our teams to be here and to, what a better time with a new product launch than to have Mr. Bob Heilig speak to us. If you don't follow him, most of you probably do. I've followed him for years and years, and I recently just connected with him. And I'm so grateful that he offered to do this call for us. I love his recent kind of theme and vibe that he's doing with some of his workshops and things. So I'm really excited for him to share. If you don't know him or this is your first time kind of hearing about him, I want to share just a little bit about who he is. So, Bob is the founder of your virtual upline, the go-to leadership development company and community for faith-based network marketers and direct sales professionals. His love-led approach to business teaches people how to live and lead from a place of purpose, service, and integrity. He knows it's not just about creating a bigger downline, it's about building a better world in the process, which I love that so much. And I also wanted to share that Meredith Cook texted me today and she wanted to extend her gratitude for you coming and speaking to the entire field and us being able to share this with everyone. So thank you so much for being here, Bob. We're so excited to hear from you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, and thanks for that great introduction. I want to, say that I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to hang out with everybody tonight, and thank you to Tabitha for taking the time to put this together. So I'm always curious before I kind of dive into the to what I want to do tonight. I see some familiar names and faces in the chat, but how many of us are meeting for the first time this evening? If this is our first time virtually meeting, do me a favor and just drop a me into the chat if you wouldn't mind, or first time, whichever. So, okay, cool. So we've got a good amount. I love that. I always love talking to new people. So, why I'm excited to
Yeah.
meet you
Let me
is,
get
and by the way, guys, if you could just make sure you're muted out,
let
that
me
way,
get a black
just so that we
cherry
don't have
game.
background noise there. But why I'm excited to meet, especially our first timers, is I am going to be
12
introducing you
285.
tonight to I think Tabitha, if you mute everybody, and then you can just probably unmute me. Can
How
you
do
do that?
I do that? I know I'm looking to do that.
Yeah. Let me see if I can,
Hold on. I don't know.
or I'll just roll with it. I can just talk louder. I have no problem talking loud. So,
Okay.
um, so I'm excited because I'm going to be introducing you to something tonight that we call our love-led approach. And if this is the first time that you're
The
hearing me
new stuff.
speak, what I'm going to be introducing you
That
to
CBD stuff I
is
take.
there we go, is a very different way of thinking about and running your business. But if you're here tonight and if you're feeling a little frustrated because your business is not really where you had hoped it would be or where you want it to be, and you're struggling to figure out what you need to do differently in order to start growing your business, in order to start having success, tonight is going to be a breath of fresh air for you. And you will leave this session tonight, I promise you, way more hopeful and inspired that you can build the business that you want if you're given the right tools and the right approach. And that's what I believe what I'm going to be teaching you is tonight. So, as Tabitha mentioned, the name of our company is Your Virtual Upline. So, I have a background in the industry. I spent about 15 years as a consultant building in the space. And the last 10 years now, just about, I've been building our training company. So we've been serving the industry since 2016. And so what makes us different is what I shared with you earlier. We teach something we call our love-led approach. And here's how we define our love-led approach. It is faith-focused, values-based, and it puts people first. And so we have this fundamental belief that there's really only one way for you to win long term in business, right? And I think that's our goal here, isn't it? Our goal isn't that we want to just experience a brief moment of success and then flame out and burn out like we see so many people in this profession do. And, God knows it's happened quite a bit over the last couple of years. The goal is for us to build a business that is sustainable, that grows organically, whether or not we're in it. And that actually really does change people's lives. That's what we're all about, is that we believe that the key to long-term success is leading with love in your business. And what I want to present to you tonight is I want to push back a little bit on what I see a lot of people saying. Last year, I don't think it shouldn't come as a surprise. It was a challenging year for our profession. We had a lot of change. We had established companies that essentially abandoned the model and left the industry. We've had lots of people struggling over the last couple of years. And the general notion that you'll hear out there is that the industry's dying. There isn't an opportunity anymore. People don't want to do this kind of thing. You can't build a team. Um, I think that couldn't be further from the truth. The industry is not dying. It is evolving and it is changing. And I believe that we're going through a rebirth. I believe that what is happening is a necessary thing that has to happen. You look at any industry that's been around as long as this profession has, over 100 years, there's cycles to business. And I think what we're seeing right now today is a totally normal part of a long-term business cycle. And so, but here's what I want you to understand. The industry's not dying, it's changing, but you need to change with it. If your business isn't changing and evolving, and you're not doing the things today that you need to do to be successful, you're not going to win. And so here's what I want to kind of open up with. I want to talk a little bit about why I see people struggling. Um, the I believe the old way of selling products no longer works in our space, right? Like let's think about this, and let me actually ask this question: how many people here? How many of you came into this industry, started a business at some point from 2020 on? So, how many of you started your business post 20, including 2020, from that point forward? Okay. Probably a large portion of you. Okay. We had a tremendous amount of people that came into this industry during COVID and the pandemic. And so, what I want you to understand is this: the way that you sold during those times cannot be the way that you sell today if you want to be successful. And I think you have a sense of that, right? Because the things that you're doing, they're not working the way that they once did. And so I say the old way of selling is dead. And here's how I define it: constantly pushing products on people, chasing likes and followers and virality, pushing sales promotions all the time, shoving it down people's throats, relying on content as the primary way to build your business. Those days are over and they will never be back. You cannot post your way to a successful business. You can make some sales and you can make some money, but you'll never build an actual business that gives you freedom and truly changes the people's lives that you do business with. And so people today, and this I am sure of, are fed up with a lot of the things that we do in this industry. And listen, just in all fairness, because I'm not trying to knock down this profession, I love it. I believe in it. When a lot of people are leaving it, I'm leaning harder into it because I know that this business model is the best business model that's out there today. But people are fed up with a lot of what we've been doing. The hype marketing, where you're just constantly all day long telling people how great your products are. Which, look, I get it. You do believe that you've got the best products. You're here. I mean, you're supposed to believe in your products. But what I want you to understand is you showing up every single day on social media and pushing your products on people and telling them how great they are, it's not helping your business. And it's not building the trust that you need to actually become a trusted guide in the area of someone's health. The louder you shout about your products, the less people are going to listen. And so that's a big part of it. Here's the other part: the way that we talk to people and the way that we have conversations. And I'm not saying that all of you are doing this, but this is just what I see most people doing. When you look at their content, it's all product focused. And when you look at their conversations, it's also leading with product and promotions. Now, listen, good example. You got a new product launch coming out. So y'all are excited, and you should be excited, and you should want to share that product with people. But here's what you should absolutely not do: reach out to every single person you've ever worked with or sold to or spoken, leading with this amazing product that they need to try. Because these are the exact things that turn people off. It is an inauthentic, transactional way to run your business. Now, let me say this. I know that's not where your heart is, right? I know you want to help, and you want to serve, and you really want to make a difference, but you're not. And I know that's frustrating. And why I want you to understand is the only reason why you're not helping more people is you don't have an approach that is aligned with your values of wanting to make a difference in people's lives. And so the old way of selling is dead. So what I want to present to you tonight is I want to present to you the new way to market and the new way to sell. Because when I look at our community, and we serve pretty much every single major social selling network marketing company, call it what you will, we serve every single one of them. We have students of ours and community members of ours, leaders, new from every company you can think of. And so I see a lot, and I get a chance to talk to a lot of people. So what I'm going to present to you tonight is what the most successful people in our industry are doing differently. And here's where I want to start is when you look at content. Okay, we're going to break down each of these two different pieces separately, because these are, by the way, if you can just become a little bit better with content and you can become a little bit better with conversations, almost every single problem that you have in your business is instantly solved, just so you know. Okay, so you are way closer to a breakthrough in your business than you could ever possibly realize. But let's talk about content. So the goal today is not to shout louder or to sell harder. To win today on social media, you've got to serve better and connect deeper. So we have a principle that we abide by, that we teach all of our students. It's one of our core love-led marketing principles. We teach a love-led approach to social media. How do you lead with love when it comes to content? Well, think of it like this. If you're leading with love in your content, the natural first thing you will do is give. Now, most people lead with fear in their content. And when you're leading with fear in your content, you're coming from a place of scarcity. You're coming from a place of inadequacy. You're coming from a place where you need to get. And that's why you lead with products. And that's why you lead with the promotion. See, most people's content is all just a carefully scripted attempt for them to make a sale. Now, once again, I know that's not where most of your hearts are. You do want to help and you want to serve, but the way that you're showing up on social media doesn't come across that way. And so when you're leading with products and promoting, people tune out. They stop paying attention. When you're leading with love in your content, here's the shift you make. You serve, you give, you help, and you don't always ask for something in return. See, that's the core principle of love. Love gives because it's what it does. When you're coming from a place of love, you serve. You focus on other people's needs, not your own. It's not that you don't want to sell, and it's not that you don't want them to say yes, but at a fundamental level, you don't need a like. You don't need a follower. You don't need a view or some sort of external validation that you have worth and something to offer the world. See, when you're showing up from a place of love, it allows you to focus on other people. See, content is meant to serve, not to sell. We got this all screwed up as an industry. And it's not just us, by the way. There's a lot of different industries that are guilty of this. But as a profession, we really warp this. We just decided that social media is a place where we can show up. It's like our personal cash register. And that's not what content is for. Content is marketing. And a fundamental principle of marketing is this: marketing is not supposed to sell. We just turned it into that because it worked for a while. Like 2020, 2021, you didn't have to have any skill whatsoever. All you had to be willing to do is shout really loud and post all the time and just start as many conversations as you want, and you would have made sales and you'd be successful. Now, I'm not downplaying the success that you created because you still had to work hard. But the truth of the matter is this, is you didn't need to be very skilled when it came to marketing. And today you do. Today, you've got to be a skilled marketer in order to be successful on social media. And so marketing is always about your prospect, not your product. Selling is about your product. Marketing is about your prospect. Your product only matters because of the problems that it can help solve for the person that you want to sell to. And so here's what we help people do. I'm going to give you a very practical shift, something actionable for you to begin to do. So if we want to lead with serving in content, what does that look like? Well, it looks like problem solving. So most of the people we work with, this is what their social media looks like. They've got product posts in one category, and those are the ones that usually just fall flat, right? You know, you're posting about your products, you're wanting people to engage, but they're not. Nobody's paying attention. So you're really struggling to get the interactions on those posts, which, you know, would be really easy if you could get people liking and commenting on those posts. Those are easy sales most of the time, right? Easy conversations to start, at least. And then you got personal stuff. And the personal stuff is the stuff that gets all the engagement and all the interactions, right? And it drives you crazy. You know, you could post about a Netflix show that you just happened to watch, and you'll have 100 comments on that sucker within like 24 hours. But you pour your heart out into a post related to a personal transformation of yours in your business or your products, and it's like crickets. And it is frustrating, and I get it. Because with the personal stuff, you don't know what to do with that. Like, how do you start a conversation with somebody that liked a picture of your cat and organically turn that into something where you could share your products? Now, some people try to do it, but that's spamming people, just so you know. Okay. And so, what's the solution here? Well, it's not that you couldn't turn that conversation into an opportunity for your business, but quite frankly, that requires a higher level of selling skill than most people have. Starting out, at least. Doesn't mean you wouldn't be capable of doing that. But there's an easy middle ground, and here's what it is. It's what we call value content. So value content is problem focused. So here's what I would ask you to do. I want you to sit down and I want you to think about, what are the top 3 problems? And, you know, it might be hard to choose a top 3. So just choose 3. There's no right or wrong way to start with this. You've got a new product launch. Tabitha, what's the new product that you're launching?
It's called Unwind, so it's a little bit of a spin on one of our current jellies.
Okay, so it's a gummy jelly. You call them jellies. And what does Unwind do?
So basically, there's 2.5 milligrams of THC, so it's kind of a good alcohol replacement. Great for just someone who wants kind of an oomph on top of what they already use with our current products.
Got it. And then what would be one very common problem that this product could address? Somebody
Sleep, stress,
sleep.
Yeah, pain.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Okay, so there's three big ones right there, right? I mean, we're probably covering the vast majority of the population with just those three right there. And perfect example. Okay. So we know we have this product in the jellies that we want to be able to get in front of people. Now, you've got two ways you can promote it. You can lead with the product and you can just shout really loud and tell people how great that is, but I think you all have a sense of how that's going to probably go. And you could, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, okay? But there's another piece to the puzzle that's missing that really drives the success of everything else. And so value content would look like this. Let's take sleep, for example. All right. So you think about someone that has a problem of poor quality or lack of sleep. The question you ask yourself is this: what advice, what tips, what tool, what resource, so what could I offer someone struggling with sleep? Now, here's the key: it's not your product. That's not the answer. What could I offer them that would potentially help them with that problem? And so it might be some advice. There might be, maybe you struggled with sleep, and it could be something as simple as, two things I think of right off the top of my head is, limiting sugar intake, X amount of hours, or caffeine intake, X amount of hours before the end of the day, or potentially not drinking water right before bed, because a lot of times people are getting up, to do bathroom breaks because of water. And so those might be terrible examples, but let's just use those. And so I might say, so one of the things that people don't do a lot of is they don't realize that there's a certain point in the day where you should be cutting off these four or five things. And here's what they are. And so I might do a post, or I might do a reel or a video. The delivery mechanism of the content doesn't matter, by the way. And it also doesn't matter where you do the content. Could be Facebook, could be Instagram, doesn't matter. Both platforms you could be successful on. I kind of joke about that because here's the deal: the platform is not the problem, and your followers are also not the problem. So there's only one variable left in this formula that is the problem. You get where I'm going with this? Look, we teach people this: if you're not crushing it on one platform, meaning you are consistently making sales every single week, you have no business being on more than one platform. So stop trying to be on Instagram and Facebook, because all you're doing is spending double the amount of time to create mediocre content, because you're spreading yourself too thin and you are driving yourself crazy. You are doubling the guilt, doubling the frustration, doubling the anxiety. So here's an idea: let's forget about trying to do everything. That's the old way of selling. The old way of selling is thinking I have to do more to be successful, more content, more platforms, more things. No, that doesn't work anymore. It's do less better. Let's focus on one platform for the next 30 to 60 days. Let's learn that. Let's be less overwhelmed. Let's create some more time so we can actually become better. But so value content. You create a post. You serve a specific problem. You don't mention your stuff. You can never mention your stuff in a value post, because the second you do, it is not value content anymore. It is promotional content. And this is what most people don't realize, is that when you're promoting your products, that's fine. You do need to do that. But that post is only for the small percentage of people that are in your audience that already know who you are, and they already know what you do, and they are ready to buy. They just need a little extra something. And so you scratch the surface of your followers with your product posts. But your value content, that's the content that drives everything else you want. It's how you get the attention of the people that you really want to do business with. It's how you nurture and grow relationships and build trust with all the other followers that you have, because it's you showing up and giving and serving, and you're not asking for anything in return. People don't do this. And so think about it like this. You choose a handful of problems. We say no more than 2 to 3. If I had this new product launch and I knew sleep, stress and pain were the other ones, I would be creating value content around at least two of those three things. What's the ratio? Every product post you do, you should do two value posts. Every product post you do, you should be doing two value posts for every one product post. Post less about your products, post more about problems. The most important thing, if you're taking notes, write this down. This is the most important thing I'll say all night. You must be known more for the problems you solve than the products you sell. A love-led business defines itself by the problems it solves, not the products that it sells. And so when people think of you, do you want them to think of somebody that's a salesperson that's pushing a product? Or do you want them to think of somebody that is a trusted guide in the area of health and wellness that is here to help and solve problems? Because those are the people that are winning bigger today. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't post about the products, but you're doubling down in these other areas. And so here's what will happen pretty quickly, by the way. You'll be doing these value posts. As you do, the more you do, you'll get better. And all of a sudden, you'll start getting likes and comments on those posts. And that's the gold. All likes, all engagement is not equal. If you can get a like or a comment on a value post, here's the next step. You message the person. This is the second piece that we'll talk about in a second. But I say this, if you're not starting conversations with every single person that is liking and commenting your posts, you are leaving money on the table every single day. Every day you are leaving money on the table. You are missing sales and you don't even realize it. Now, some of you are like, well, I start conversations, but what are you leading with? Are you leading with the product? Are you leading with the promotion? Because that's the old approach that doesn't work anymore. It turns people off. You've got to lead with problem solving. You've got to lead with helping. And so Tabitha likes my post about poor quality sleep where I give a piece of advice and I reach out to her. I say, hey, Tabitha, thanks for liking that post. I'm curious, is this an area that you're struggling with now? That's called authentic outreach. It leads with problem solving. It leads with helping. It doesn't dance around and, small talk for 10 minutes, waiting to, it's boom, right to it. You lead people. Now, you can't do that with a personal post about your cat because there's no context. See, the beautiful part about value content is it will help you identify the hot leads that are in your audience that you don't know who they are yet. Because if somebody raises their hand by liking or commenting, I am going to assume that they need my help. Now, I don't know that yet, but that's why I reach out. That's what the authentic outreach does, is I find out, does she have a problem? Does she need help? And I'm telling you, that is the formula for success. I just gave you the entire success plan for you. Value content, authentic outreach. Value content, authentic outreach. Here's what will happen. The more outreach you do and you start a conversation, most of the time that's not going to result in a sale. But here's what it will do. It will put you front of mind. That person will say, wow, that was cool. They reached out to me. Sometimes you'll find problems and that is worth its weight in gold. I might not sell to Tabitha, but I find out she has a problem in that area and I make a note of that. And the more conversations I start, here's what happens. Facebook starts to pick all this stuff up. Instagram. The algorithm is watching every single thing you do, and it is measuring every relationship you have with every person on social media. And when you're talking back and forth in Messenger, that is the strongest driver of the algorithm. Somebody responds back to you, the algorithm says, oh, wait a minute, this person's important to this person. So guess what's going to happen? All that outreach that you're doing, the next time you do your product post, you're going to get 10 times the amount of eyeballs on the product post. See, you have to have an overall plan for what you do in your business. You can't just keep copying what you see other people doing and posting and praying and hoping that something's going to work. It's likely to not ever work for you. Success is very simple in this industry. It's always been simple. Doesn't mean it's easy, but we've really made it hard because we've gotten so overwhelmed with thinking everything that we need to do. At the end of the day, if you show up and you lead with love and you focus on serving and you genuinely want to help people, you will be successful. And so that's the first piece is value content. How can we start to do more of that? There's another level to this though. So there's probably some of you that might be thinking, okay, all right, so I kind of do that. That's the starting point. I give advice, Bob, and I offer help, and I kind of do that, but it's not working for me. Maybe you've been in our community and you've heard me talk about it on the podcast or something like that, and you're like, Bob, I'm doing that, but it's not working. Well, here's probably what's missing for you. Two things. One, there is an actual framework and an order of how you structure a value post. Okay. And it's very important. You always lead with the problem. Problem first. By the way, you lead with the problem in every post that you make. That's the hook. Even when you're posting about the jelly or the product, the first 5 seconds of your video or the first 2 lines of your copy is, are you struggling with this problem? That's the hook. That's how you connect with people. So even your product posts must be problem focused, not product focused. It's kind of a counterintuitive way to think about it. But here's the second part that everybody gets wrong. There are 2 core principles of love-led content we teach. I shared one with you already. Serve through content, don't sell. The second principle is this. You must speak to a specific person in every single post. Every product post, every value post, you must speak to a specific person. This is a fundamental principle of marketing. You sell to everyone, but for marketing content to be effective, it must speak to a specific person's problems and needs, or you will never get attention. Look, there is more competition today than there's ever been on social media. And there are so many people that are marketing health and wellness products. There are so many people that are marketing jellies and gummies and CBD products and hemp products. Like, I get it. You think your thing is great, but there's 12 other products out there that are also great. I'm not saying they're better than yours, but in the eyes of the consumer, they all sound the same and they all look the same. And so you doing value content is also the same thing. You don't like people giving advice for health and wealth. It's a dime a dozen. Like, there are millions of people out there trying to give advice in the area of health and wellness, educating it. That's not what really does it. For your content to stand out, for it to stop the scroll, somebody has to say, oh my God, that's me. And the problem that we have is we try to sell to everyone through our content. And so we speak to everyone. And all of our marketing is very vague and very generic, and it doesn't land with anybody. It's not relatable. And the other part of it is this, is a lot of you are hiding behind your products. Let's be real here. You're so afraid to share yourself, and you're so afraid to share your story because you don't feel credible. You don't feel like you've done enough. Who's going to listen to me? Maybe you're struggling with your own health. You're like, well, who's going to come to me? Like that little voice is on your shoulder saying, well, who's going to come to you and trust you with their health? Right? Like, this is what we do to ourselves. And so what do? We hide behind our products. And we just post about the products, and that feels safe to us, but it doesn't work. Doesn't work. It will never work ever again. You can go join 50 platforms. You can post 100 times per day. You will still be in the exact same place. I'm telling you. So here's what we need to do. We need to speak to a specific person. Who is that specific person? Well, we call them your dream customer. So I want you to think about it like this. And well, let me ask this question. How many of you have a goal to build your team this year? Show of hands. Yes, give me a yes in the chat, me, whatever. How many of you want to build a team? Okay, I'm going to guess most of you. Most of you are on this training, so you probably want to do that. So what I want you to think about is, where do the leads for your team come from generally? Right now, if you're like most people, your customer base is naturally the place where you get your leads for your team, your business. Right now, some of you might be leading with your business, and that's fine. Most people don't. And so if our customer base is where our leads for our team are going to come from, one of the big challenges that I hear and struggles is, I can't find the right people. Bob, I just can't find the right people. These people aren't motivated. They're not committed, right? They sign up. They don't want to do the work, right? We get frustrated. And then we ask and we wonder why. Well, I'll tell you why. Because you're not talking to anyone in your content. Your dream customer is not just somebody that wants better sleep. Your dream customer is a busy stay-at-home mother or a busy working mother that needs better sleep so she can actually function as a normal human being. She's struggling at work. She's struggling when she's at home. She's constantly beating herself up. She's got lots of drive, lots of desire. She wants to improve her life, but she doesn't have the energy to even take the first step. She feels guilty because she's not being as great of mom as she can be. She's not being present at work. Her productivity is suffering. That's who you're looking to help. And so when you post about the jelly or you do your value content, you talk to her in every single post. Now, people say, well, Bob, I don't want to limit myself. And this, I always laugh when people give me the objection of like, I don't want to, I'm like, but what you're doing isn't working. So what are you limiting? You're not limiting anything. It's not even working for you. And so like, why not try something different? See, when you start getting really specific to who you talk to, you start getting attention. And so you want a better person to join your team, sell to a better person. That's how you find them. We have it all backwards. We're like, well, I can't find them. You don't find them. They find you. That's how it works. And you want to know how they find you? Your content, your marketing, every day. You have to become known for solving the problems of a specific person. That is your entire brand. That is a love-led business. You are being called to serve a specific person right now. Well, who are they? They're you. They're you. You are your dream customer. Now, I want you to imagine this. What if all you had was 2 or 3 other yous on your team right now? What if you just had one other person as committed as you? It's 9 o'clock for me. They're on the Zoom at 9 o'clock. They want to learn. They want to grow. They're hungry. What if you had just one other person as motivated and as committed as you? You think your business would be in a better place 6 months from now? What if you had 10 of those people? What if you had 100 of them? See, we don't understand the power of speaking to a specific person. Think about your content. Who are you going to be most relatable to? One of the biggest parts of the message is the messenger. And so I get it. You could be, a 50-something mother that really wants to help new moms in their 20s, and that's great. But I'm telling you, a new mom in her 20s is not likely to relate to or resonate with you right now. Now, you can sell to them, and you will sell to them, but you've got to focus on the people that are going to relate the most to you. Now, here's the way this works. There's 2 possibilities of how you do this. The person that you are serving is either the before you or the now you. And I'm going to help you understand what this is. You're either serving the person you were before you started your journey with Green Compass, right? You are most powerfully positioned to help the version of you before you started. Okay. She's just like you. He's just like you. Same values, same beliefs, lots of the same circumstances of life, same problems, same challenges. The only difference is she doesn't know what green compass is. And so you're either serving the before you, or if you're someone that's been in this industry for a period of time, and there's a lot of time in between the start of your journey and the season of life you're in right now, then you're more likely serving the now you, right? Maybe your kids were young when you started, and the problems that you had then are much different now that your kids are going away to college. And you're just in a different season of life. And so it doesn't mean that you still won't sell to the before you people. You will, but your content has to be narrowly focused on the now you stuff. So you're speaking to other women that are in a similar season of life. Now, why is this important? Because it brings purpose and meaning to content and your business. When you realize that you are being called to serve a specific person, you have been divinely created and uniquely qualified to serve a specific person, and they are just like you. And once you realize this, you stop comparing yourself to other people and you start leaning into the calling. You have the courage to share yourself because now you know who you're sharing it for. And this is, by the way, the most predictable formula out there. You do this consistently, and all of a sudden, these women will start showing up. Just had a student of ours. Her name is Wanda. She's been a guest on my podcast. I've been telling her story a lot lately because I think it's the perfect example of this. Wanda came to us for help September of last year. She is a Optavia coach, right? So she's in health and wellness. She'd been with Optavia for 4 years. She joined a workshop that we hosted the end of September last year, teaching our love-led approach. We've created this very simple but incredibly powerful 5-step action plan to get people's businesses going really fast. Wanda came to us and she was ready to quit. And if you've heard a podcast episode, you know how powerful her story is. She went on to share with me, and I found all this out afterwards because I didn't know who she was when she came to the workshop. But she's like, I've always felt called, right? I really felt like that God introduced me to this profession to help other women that had gone through similar health challenges to me. And she said the hardest part was, man, I had this burning desire and I felt like I was being called to help women, but I wasn't. And I didn't know how. And after 4 years, she was ready to quit. It's funny, her business was up for renewal March 1st. And she attended our workshop and she said, if this doesn't work, I'm going to give the business up. It's just not for me. She learned our love-led approach. And the thing that made the biggest difference for her was value content and serving and how to, she said, I always wanted to lead with love, but I never knew how to do it. And so she started doing value posts. I get a message from her 4 weeks into her implementing this. She said, you don't know me, but I have to tell you, this is changing my life. I said, tell me more. She said, on a good month, I might get 1 to 2 clients, and they're generally not the best clients. They're just people that want to buy. She said, we're halfway through the month. I already have 4 new clients, and they're not just clients. These are women that are just like me, that I have been dreaming someday I could work with. And she says, I am getting engagement like I've never had before. She was like on fire. In 6 weeks of implementing just the simple plan that we gave her, she enrolled 12 new clients and she doubled her monthly commission check from $1,000 to $2,000. And when she started, she was ready to quit. Now, Wanda and I have become close friends. We talk quite a bit because I always want updates. What she's created is something that we call love-led growth. And everything that I'm teaching you today, this is what it will do for you. Love-led growth is so different than anything you've ever experienced before. It's not an increase in sales because of some big promotion, artificial growth that goes away at the end of the month. Every month you're having to move heaven and earth just to get back to where you were, stress, anxiety. Love-led growth is different. It is organic. It is effortless. It is actual momentum. And so, as I've kept in touch with Wanda, here's what's happened. She has consistently grown her business 20 to 30% every single month since then. And she's like, I have never felt this way in my business. She goes, I am less stressed. I am at ease. I am enjoying my business. I am having fun. That's love led growth. You know, um, I saw DJ Trosper was one of our early success stories. Let me tell you a little bit about DJ. This will segue me into the second part, which is conversations. Here's the one simple shift you need to make. And I'm going to give you also a very practical plan. You have a lot of past customers, right? You're going to want to share this new product with them. Instead of doing what most people will do who are not on this Zoom, don't make the mistake. Instead of reaching out to all these people and saying, "Oh my God, I've got this great product. I wanted to share it with you," because that's the old way of doing it. That doesn't work anymore. Can you make a couple of sales that way? Yes. But the more you do it, the less it will work, and you will do way more damage to your reputation and brand than you even realize. Because what you're saying to people is, I only care about making a sale. And I know that's not the way you feel, but that's the way people perceive you. This is why they don't respond to your messages. So DJ is a great example. You know, we started working with her in her previous company. She came to us and her biggest struggle was, you know, not knowing what to say when messaging. And so we taught her this strategy that we call authentic outreach. And we gave her one simple script. And the script essentially just told her, instead of leading with your product, lead with their problem. Now, in the health and wellness business, you may know their problem, you may not know their problem. Now, my advice to you would be this. Any past customer of yours where you did know what they were struggling with, those are the people you reach out to first. And here's what it sounds like. I reach out to Tabitha and I say, "Hey, Tabitha, I was thinking about you and I wanted to check in. You know, I know when we worked together, you were struggling with, you know, sleep. How's that going for you?" That's it. Now, you want to know what's funny? That's what you would say if you were talking to another human being in your life. It's common sense, right? Like, that's just the human way to We wouldn't lead with, you wouldn't call somebody up and say, "Oh my God, you got to hear what happened to me this week." No, you would say, "What is going on in your life?" But the interesting thing is, common sense is not often common practice when it comes to our business. And it's just because we just don't understand that piece of it. And so when you lead with problem solving, here's what it says: I do care. And so DJ, to her credit, she went to work. And it was funny because at the time she was selling makeup, and she started reaching out and sending these messages. And she would say, I would look in the messenger, and there'd be like 3 or 4 messages that I had sent from previous product promotions. None of them were responded to. And she said, I sent this one message to a customer of mine that, you know, she hadn't bought in 6 months, and I knew her specific problem, and I reached out and I just led with that, and that was it. And she said, what happened was it turned into this like incredible conversation. She said she responded almost immediately to me. She goes, I didn't even bring up my product, right? I just made it about her, and I listened to her, and I checked in with her, and I gave a little bit of advice. And that was it. And then like a day or so later, the lady buys. She purchases from her. She didn't even ask her to purchase. She buys from her. And that was the moment she realized, wow, I get it now. You know, it's not that I can't do it. It's not that I'm not capable. It's not that I don't know the right. It's that you have the wrong approach. You're so much closer to a breakthrough than you can even possibly realize. Yes. And then DJ, she started referring people to DJ without her even asking her. And this is supported in the research today. All of the consumer research says that a customer, the majority of customers, would be happy to refer people after one positive interaction with a business. Now, here's the hard truth to swallow. If you're not getting referrals, you're not creating great experiences for customers. You're transacting. You're too product focused. You're not problem focused enough. And so DJ went on, to her credit, she went on to have her first ever $1,000 month in her business, not tied to some sort of big sale or big promotion. She crushed it. She crushed it. And there, I've got 100 other stories like those. I'm telling you, your business is no different. The people you know are no different. When you lead with love, it will transform you and your business. And so that's our mission for today. Our mission is, I want everyone in this profession to be aware of this love-led approach. Because if you're here tonight, I know that it's not an accident. There's a reason why you're here. You're being called to something bigger in your business. And I know you feel that. It's the reason why you haven't quit yet, right? All the hard times and all the no's and all the, like, you haven't quit. And there's a reason why you haven't quit. Because deep down inside, you know that there's something bigger for you out there. And there is something bigger for you out there. The only thing between you and the business that you want, the business of your dreams, is a new mindset and a different approach. And that's what we're giving people today. And so those are the things you need to do different. And you can do that, right? I mean, have I given you anything tonight that you can't do? Can you more authentically connect with people and not push your product and just, you might not know their problem, but here's what you do. Hey, I was thinking of you. I wanted to check in. How have you been? And then they respond back and you say, hey, when we were working together and you bought X product, what were you looking to do with that? Was there something you were struggling with? I want to find the problem. That's the thing. Like, you are a paid problem finder in your business. If all you did was become really curious about finding people that needed help, and then here's an idea. When you find somebody that has a problem and needs help, don't go rush to try to sell them. Lead with helping before you try to sell. Actually offer advice, give a tip, show care, show concern, and watch that open the door to you sharing your product. You'll sell without even trying to sell. It's little things. Any of you can do it. So, Tabitha, is it okay if I share the workshop with them really quick, and then I'll kick it over to you, and we have a couple of minutes. I can take some questions. So, okay, awesome. So I mentioned a workshop that Wanda attended in September of last year. I wish I could have been doing this particular training about a month ago, but I didn't, and it's fine. It's not a big deal. At the end of January, we did a 4-day free workshop. Some of you may have attended that, specifically for health and wellness businesses, and it went amazing. We had over 11,000 people register. What I did was I taught our love-led approach, and I taught a 5-step action plan that we have been working on for a very long time, that we have perfected. I mean, we have this thing down to a science. I don't care who you are. I don't care how bad you've been. I can take you. I can take your business. I can take all of your existing customers and followers, and I can get you making money faster than you can even imagine. If all you do is be coachable and do what I teach you, say the words I give you, do the posts that I tell, you will make money and you will grow your business. Now, that's a bold promise, but I'm telling you, it works. And so we did this workshop. It went so well. And we're doing it again at the end of this month. Now, we're doing it this month specifically for people that sell beauty products this time. And I know that that's like, I know that you have some stuff, but it's not really what you do. But I'm going to tell you, you should still register for the workshop. And all I want you to be able to do is just see through the marketing on the page that's talking to beauty business owners. And what I want you to really see is the meat and potatoes, which is we're going to teach the exact same plan that we taught in January, and you're going to get a chance to learn it at the end of this. About 5% of the actual workshop is really dialed into beauty. We just give some specific examples, but the action plan will be exactly the same, and you'll learn all of the ins and outs of what it looks like to lead with love in your business. And so that workshop is completely free. It's 4 days. It's happening starting on March 24th. You'll leave that 4 day workshop with more hope than you have had maybe ever in your business. And you will have a level of confidence and belief in yourself and your ability to do this that you also probably have never had in your business. And more importantly, you'll many of you will have already created real opportunities. We had a young lady named Corbin that attended the workshop in January. In 5 days, by the end of the week of the workshop, she had reactivated 9 past customers and made an extra $1,200 in her business off of one single script that we gave her for her past customers. And now listen, does everybody do that? No. But to her credit, she took it. I say when you give the right person the right approach at the right time, that's when magic happens. And I know that you're the right people because you're here. And I believe for many of you, it is the right time because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're ready for change. Now's the time. And so the workshop, I'll give you the link to register. It's yourvirtualupline.com. I'm sure Tabitha can share this with you or your leaders on the call. Yourvirtualupline.com/beauty. Yourvirtualupline.com/beauty. So, Shannon, the workshop sessions are 60 minutes. So there's 4 sessions, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you register, you will get lifetime access to the recordings. And I don't have it with me, but a 30-page workbook that we give you for free for registering that will have the entire love-led action plan spelled out for you step by step in there. I would highly, highly suggest that you check it out. So, Tabitha, I'll kick it back over to you. I got, we can maybe do one question if
Okay.
you'd like so. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah. Does someone want to maybe pop a question in the chat and we'll see if Bob wants to give insight?
we're gonna have to pick a good one.
Yes. So much goodness in the chat
And I
there.
don't know, I think we had some people, if you attended that workshop in January, drop it in the chat and let everybody know. Maybe we can encourage some more people to take the time. I realize that, listen, guys, we've been around the block and we've all been to the workshops and the trainings that we set aside our time and our schedule and we attend and then we leave feeling, I don't know if that was worth my time. I'm telling you, this is going to be worth your time. It will be one of the most valuable 4 days you've ever spent in your business. It will be better than most of the stuff you've bought in your career and in your past. So I'm excited to share it with a lot of you. So, okay. So Heather's got a good question. I kind of talked about this already, Heather. Here's what I want to point out to you though. Heather's question is, what are your tips for selling in an unstable economy? Now, I chose this question intentionally. I don't know if we have any students of ours other than the ones I've mentioned, but you might even already know how I'm going to answer this. Tabitha, we have a concept that we teach called a red light story. And a red light story is essentially, it's just a negative thought. It's a negative point of view. And red light stories are incredibly dangerous because they are ultimately the unseen force that holds us back in our business. And every single one of us does this. We always tell ourselves these stories, which are just focusing on the negative side of things. And if you can imagine a red light, it's just like stop. And so we tell ourselves a red light story, and it either keeps us from taking an action that could help us in our business, or we still take the action, but we do it from such a weak and ineffective and powerless place with no conviction just because we need to, and we go through the motions. And either way, you don't get the results you want. And so you could probably see where I'm going with this. But, listen, is our economy unstable? I'm not going to argue with that. But what I will point out to you is if you keep thinking that we are in an unstable economy, that is not going to allow you to show up from a place of love and truly serve. And so what I choose to focus on is this. Do we live in a volatile world right now? Yes. Is it an unstable economy? Yes. Are people still spending money? Absolutely. The wellness industry is booming bigger than it ever has. It is growing faster than it ever has. The opportunity today, like people no longer view wellness as a luxury, it is a necessity. People are spending more money on wellness purchases than they ever have. They're going to spend more money this year. And so I see that as opportunity. So you can focus on all the craziness in the world, or you can focus on the real opportunity that's in front of you. And here's an idea. How about the millions of people out there in the world today that need help more than ever when it comes to their health? With weight loss shots and endless amounts of advice. Like people have never been more confused or lost when it comes to their health. And so I see opportunity. I say, man, there are so many other women out there just like me, men out there just like me, that they just, if somebody could have the courage to show up and serve and help, they're waiting for somebody to guide them. And so at the end of the day, what you focus on, ultimately you create. Now, isn't that kind of faith, though, anyway? See, a core principle of what we do is honoring your faith in the work that you do. You know, for me personally, like I truly feel like God placed me into this industry. This industry, it was an assignment for me in my life. It helped me discover my calling. It helped me discover my purpose. It grew the potential that was inside of me. And so at the end of the day, the question that you have to ask yourself, and I'm not, Heather, I'm not picking on you. She's like, I just asked like one, uh, like just one question. And I'm not picking on you. I'm just using this as a way to call out some things that I see. At the end of the day, here's the accountability that you need to place upon yourself. Is the true demonstration of faith is courageous action. It is courageous action. And if you are not showing up in a courageous way and sharing the gift that you have of your products and your help, then you're not honoring or practicing your faith. You know, and I just think to me, yes, there are a lot of people out there that are scared. And there are a lot of people out there that are hurting. But there are just not enough people that have the courage to show up and help. And that's ultimately what I want you to do. Is I want you to have the courage to share more of yourself and your story so you can show up for other women, other men like you that are hoping and praying someone like you can come into your life. And the way you come into their life is through a piece of content. It's through a conversation. These are the little acts of service that we get to practice every single day that can have an impact on someone else's life. This is what our love-led approach is about. And so if this is the kind of business that you want to run, if you want to have fun again, if you want to feel fulfilled every single day doing what you do, then there is no other way to build a business. And so I hope you register for our workshop. So, Tabitha, thank you for once again for having me, and thank you to all of you for taking some time and hanging out with me here today. Hopefully you got some value, pun intended, and
Yeah.
I hope to see many of you in the workshop at the end of this month. So
Thank you so much, Bob. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
yeah, you got it. See you,
Thanks,
everybody. Have a
Bob.
great night.
Bye.